Alright, hello everyone, SoulServer17 earlier feels like usual, did not own these pictures, not pay video, okay, so here's the thing. I'm kind of just getting changing up some things. So last time we left off is after he met the fox girl, Harume. Or Harume. So basically, he just got back and Hestia asked him where he was all night and blah blah blah. So, yeah. That's what happens. Last part just has to end. He also got the Beast Monarch, which will come in handy because some skills may be popping up soon. And, well, technically speaking, everything will technically be changing on what's going to happen to the, Ishtar Familia. If you guys know what happens, some things will be changing, but yeah, anyways. So, we go to Freya first. Because, well, let's just say she's closing her eyes. And she's basically trying to find if Belle is, doing anything right now. But something happens for her. When she reopens her eyes, she's in a black void with something purple glowing. As she's thinking, where am I? And what's that in front of me? As then from this glowing light, she hears a voice. And it says, "So, you are the goddess Freya." I admit, I'm surprised. But I figure it was about time we meet one another. As she is shocked because she doesn't know where the voice is coming from. He goes, "Oh, don't be afraid." As then she hears a snap of a finger. Well, fingers basically. And then, the darkness does fade. And there is Sun Jin Woo. She asks, "Who are you?" And, he just says, "My name is Sun Jin Woo. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I only have one thing to say to you, or a warning. Not about your life. It's about that Ishtar woman. She's basically gonna make a fool of herself. And I would try to deal with her right away. Before anything happens. Trust me." It's, be quite amusing for you because I can tell you don't like her very much. In which Freya just, says, "I'm listening." And so Sanjivu just says, if he finds out Freya treats her own members of her familia, well, what do you think Belle would do? In which, she doesn't know. But then he raises the question, why haven't we met somebody from that familia, and they're just using her power to gain strength? In which she asks, how do you... I have soldiers all over Auroria. They've been keeping an eye on him for me. He doesn't know that. Neither does Igris. But they know what she's been planning. And they know you're interested in him. Now, I must ask you, is it an interest, or did you actually fall in love with him? In which she's about to say no, but the words can't come out. She's stopping herself. And he goes, well, it might have been because of his new power, or, the way he looked when you first met him before Hestia took him into her familia, in which her eyes widen, and then he says, "This was just a warning for you. Nothing more. Use how you will. Goodbye, goddess Freya." as then Sun Jinwoo snaps his fingers again, as darkness, starts to cover everything, including Freya, and then she opens up her eyes. She does gasp for air, and she goes, that wasn't a dream. Yeah, basically. And, well, Otar comes in, goes, Goddess, are you okay? And she goes, yes. Have someone look into Ishtar, Samilia for me. And we have to see if Belle Cronell is going to involve with anything with them. And he goes, why is that? He goes, if we don't prevent something from happening, there may be an all-out war in Ishtar, or Familia, versus him. In which Otar understands. He goes, as you wish. And so he leaves. But she does, go out to basically look at outside, and then she basically says, what do you mean by love? She basically, how I see in that she never really probably fell in love with anyone. Because for some reason, so we already know how basically Lily and Hestia feels. Yeah. But anyways, as she's pondering this, Belle is outside cleaning everything. And then Makoto, Wolf, and Lily come around, because it's like after he doesn't complain, he just does it. She says she wants to give him a punishment, he goes like, I'll do it anyways. She goes, then go clean around the town? He was like, okay, so that's what he does. They're all questioning it, but they basically are helping him. So after you see the kids, he basically playing hero and such, he did kind of, well, he doesn't have regret what he said to her about he'll, basically be her hero basically in some way, and said he'll still save her. So yeah. So basically, after that, basically, Makoto tells Belle though, when they are about to help each other out, or help Belle out with cleaning, Makoto tells him why she was there, and then he goes like, oh, wait, does she have fox ears and a tail? Blonde? She goes, yes, Hatsume? Wait, Hatsume came in my head. Sorry. Harume? See, Hatsume, Harume kind of sound similar, so dyslexia made it. Yeah. And then he goes like, yeah, have a song to her last night. In which Makoto is shocked, and, well. So, she asked where was she, so he just told her where he met her and stuff. And, yeah, so after that, I would say Belle, after he done cleaning everything, he would technically go back to the, to the Hestia's estate, place, home, mansion, and then he just, but when he gets there though, this is the funny thing. This is the thing that's changed. Hephaestus is there, and he's like, huh? Hephaestus? Why are you here? Which basically Wolf was like, Goddess, you're... And she goes, hello, Wolf. I wanted to see how you're doing with Hestia. And he was like, I'm doing fine. Is there any other reason? He goes, you know the reason why. As basically she looking at Belle, as Belle goes, alright, come on. You want to see my forge? Probably. She goes, yep. And so, when she sees the forge, she's looking outside. It's kind of small, because it's like, how should I say this? It's no bigger than, like, if we're talking about, like, how many blocks or tiles. It's 4 tiles long, and 5 tiles, basically 4 tiles going across, 5 tiles going straight forward. Or not straightforward, making it like a rectangle. So give me a minute. Okay, so basically, Since you guys know it's in like a square shape. Yeah. So she's looking on the outside, and when he says, because she says small, it's like, oh, it's big on the inside. Come on. As when she's still confused, even though she's saw it for the magic glass that they did. When the bell opens it, yeah, it's a full-on forge, like kind of like Wealth, but a little bit more spacious. Let's just say that. Anyway, she was like, "Whoa," it's like, "Yep." Basically, it's kind of like what you would think from a fantasy, I guess, story. What were they called? The dwarves would make or have a way of forging like this, in which Hephaestus would not. But so she was like, "Okay, can I see at least one of your weapons?" He's like, "Actually, I always been wondering what type of. I mean, how powerful is this weapon?" And then he goes into the store and he buys the Night Killer sword or Night Slayer sword. I mean, not sword, dagger. And then he pulls it out, in which he gets the stats and everything. He thinks, level B, huh? So he basically gives it to Hestia to Hephaestus, and she's like, this is like level A weapon, right? He was close. B. She was, huh? But has the status of someone to be in level A or near S rank. He was like, oh, yeah, no, that's B, and the stats don't change on the weapon. Basically, this thing is excellent against knights. Anything in an armor that's a knight, just soulless, I guess, or even knights itself would die to this thing instantly. Doesn't really matter what. Oh, and also, if you're gonna ask, what would be like an S rank item? You probably call it a god level weapon or something, because yeah, you basically even you think this is wasn't A or near S class weapon, right? She doesn't say nothing, but he goes like, exactly. Anyways, he puts the dagger into his inventory. He goes, never got to thank you. Also, give me a minute. So basically, he just kind of goes down to his inventory and sees all the veil he has. He goes, 5, 10. Yep, that should be enough. And then she was like, huh? So he just kind of throws her a big giant bag of veil. He was like, that's Hestia's debt. I know she doesn't really go much to the store, but she still owes you a lot. So, there you go. And she was like, which, well, you know, Hestia is kind of shocked that he was willing to do it, but not really. Well, shocked that he actually did it. Surprised that he wanted to. No. Which Wolf was like, wow, that's a lot of ale. How much did you? He was like, oh, remember that expedition? Remember when we went to the 18th floor, and when we came back up, he goes, yeah, that's all the veil in that bag. I mean, I do have to buy veil for supplies and stuff. I mean, I have to use veil for supplies and stuff. But I mean, I could literally just go into the dungeon, go all the way to the 50th floor probably, and come right back up, and I could have exactly the same amount or even more. In which Welk goes, yeah, that's right. So, Freya is not Freya. I mean, Hephaestus is shocked, but she goes, can I see what you can make? He's like, oh, sure. So he goes over to the list of weapons he can make, and he goes like, here they are. So, oh. So when she's whipping through them, she sees daggers, swords, axes, spears, shields, armor. She's kind of shocked by this, and he was like, I really won't be using this forge that much, but, I mean, it only would make sense if I have to have, like, a level cap on it, and I have to, like, gain more experience with forging. I check already forged 2 weapons, and they seem to be, like, S-class level, or even above, because it was a mystery level, in which Hephaestus is shocked by this, and she goes, can I see them? And he goes like, sure. And then he pulls out both the beast daggers. but he says they're called Beast Monarch daggers, but I just call them Beast daggers. So when she sees them, yeah, they're powerful. Like she literally thinks if he could technically beat the dungeon with these, this is like level 80 weapons. I mean, level like 80 adventurers should have. The quality is good. The strength of them is excellent. Even the weight, the weight of from basically the blade and the grip and everything's perfect. And he goes, well, she asks, "Was this your first try forging?" He's like, "Yes." Which Wolf was like, uh, uh, "Wait, how good is it?" Goddess Hephaestus, and she's just jaw dropped. He's like, "I just got lucky." Also, it kind of works with the well. I kind of think it would definitely maybe work with my level 2, but my skills as a forger is just a beginner. I mean, technically speaking, this forge can't be used by me as it looks like, or, well, Wealth has to get stronger, actual muscle wise, not stat wise, just so he can lift, well, one of these hammers up. And basically just showing this hammer that has like flames coming over it and stuff. And Hephaestus kind of shocked. He's like, yeah, it kind of helps when I guess all the weapons here kind of may or may not have some type of status on them. Don't really know. And so, after they leave the forge, he got back his beast daggers and put them away. He's like, anyways, Hephaestus, you saw my forge, you saw the weapon. Hope you have a nice time. Which Hestia goes like, wait, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm gonna go level up. She goes, huh? It's like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of staying at the same level 8. Besides, I have a feeling I'm gonna need to level up soon, anyways. So, yeah, I'm going. Bye. Which, well, we say, wait up. Are you going into that dungeon that has no, magic stones or magic crystals? I mean, magic stones / magic crystals. He goes, yes. Why? He goes, I'm coming. Which then Lily says, me too. And Makoto says, I would like to come. And he's like, fine. Well, we'll basically be going into the 12 key dungeons. I have to use 12 of my keys. Since it's Makoto's first time, we'll go to a C or D rank one, okay? In which they are not right. And so, basically they start leaving. Hephaestus is like, he can make his own dungeons? Which Hestia was like, uh-huh. I mean, how do you think he has... Wait, hold on, guys. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, Hephaestus is, like I said, shocked about the whole entire thing. So, basically, um, basically, Makoto, how do you say, Belle, well, and Lily go into C rank gates, C rank dungeon. Not one, many. He basically gets the quick way of explaining. It goes like, monsters have no crystals. These are actual monsters that the bodies will stay, and don't worry, just focus on getting strong. She goes, right. So, basically, after this, they do go, and with each area that they are outside, they see different type of monsters, in which they kill. Bell is not using his shadows, but they do find some flying enemies. Griffin-like creatures. And he's like, huh, I wonder. So, right when basically everyone killed every one of them, because there was more than 30, and they were able to kill them with well, a little bit of help from the shadows, the soldiers. Yeah, he basically brings back these griffins. Basically, we're just gonna call them griffins. And well, he's he's like, well, at least now we have aerial support. I just wrote it down, so. I mean, everyone says, yeah, I mean, that's good. So, when they are. So, we're just gonna skip to when they are done. Makoto's sign, like, finally hits over, and everyone's just like, I can't believe that boss. It was, like, stronger than anything we ever faced in the dungeons. He's like, oh, yeah. Remember I said the gates, they kind of have like a few sections depending on which key to get even stronger? And they say, well, Makoto say, huh? Which well, from Luger, like, yeah. He's like, well, you were technically in ski rink area until the last three areas. And which is just, blank. And they're like, so we went from C to B to A to S. He goes, yep, the boss was S. And we defeated it, he's like, just because we got the griffins. It was able to distract it enough so we can actually kill it. Also, the beast daggers are coming in handy, very good. And, well, Lilith says, also the scabbard that you have, he's like, yeah. For some reason the plunder, title's been acting weird. It's like, I don't know, it's about to change. Don't know why. So yeah, so everyone asks, what level is he now? He's like, oh, I'm level. He goes, holy cow. The boss must have gave me a lot of XP. They're like, huh? He goes, well, I became level 9, then 10, all the way up to level 20, basically, well, 120. When we got to the boss room, I was already 120. But when we killed the boss, everyone just looks at me and said, don't tell me. 130. Everyone just jaw drops and he's like, well, it happens. So, I'm gonna do some, math and stuff. Alright. Okay, so his level, yes, 330. I mean, no, not 300, 130. His shadows he has is 128. Shadows, he can have all together, though, is 301, even including the save. His HP, 201. His MP, 2001 for HP. MP is 3020. Strength 172, Agility 172, Sense 171, Vitality 156, and Intelligence 191. And technically he just has 30 right now in all his stats because that's how much he calculated he would have, but he doesn't know his actual one. So, that's what the God system, basically. So yeah, anyways. So though, after that night, well, if I remember correctly, we didn't see anything for what was in, what was happening with Belle. So, in my case, Belle will just get back and, well, kind of just sleep. Really. With Makoto, everything would go the same. So, well, everything would basically, how should I say this? Hermes is actually kind of worried. He was like, I gotta tell Belle. No, wait, no. I need to get in touch with Freya. Yeah, Freya. Where can I go? And then he remembers the tavern. So basically, he goes. While Belle was in the dungeon and all, he went to the tavern, and he basically tried to tell Mama Mia about that she has to get a message to, to Freya. And she goes, why is that? And he goes, like, it's just something really important. Please, he just did me this one favor. She goes, nope, I'm not gonna do any. And he goes like, it's about Belle. As then everything would kind of go the same with every character. But yeah. So the next day, Makoto will be talking to Belle. That will happen normally. Because it'll be like in the morning ish, almost afternoon. She saw Harume, and she acted like she didn't know me. And, well, Belle just says, it might be because what she thinks of herself. Man, who knew she'd be taken this far? She goes, I don't know why. And, well, Belle just says, well, you won't like it whatever I tell you, but... So, let's just say she's not that happy with herself in her life. And when she goes, then that's more reason why we need to save her. And Belle agrees. But he goes, how though? I don't want to go in and just, take her by force. They say they'll keep an eye on her even if we try to. In which, well, then his sense activates and he looks over, he sees, Hermes. He goes, God, Hermes? Why are you there? Come on out. He's like, hey, Belle Makoto. He goes, so, what's wrong? He's like, oh, I just want to check to see how you are. And he goes like, Bahiden? He's like, basically Belle goes over to Hermes and put an arm around his shoulder because remember, he's a lot taller than Canon Belle. So he's like, so, come on. When you tell an old friend, and then he just gives this innocent smile. He goes like, I'm dead, either way. And so, they basically go to the same place where they were talking in private, the same tavern. And he goes, so you're trying to save your friend, Makoto. And Belle, you offered to help? And he goes like, yep. So, there's only a few ways you can actually take back a slave. Or should I say, who she is working with from the, Ishtar Familia. Simple. Buy her, or, I'm telling you that's the only way you can buy her. Technically try to disband the Familia. But either way won't work. Depends on who this girl is to them. She can cost a lot of money, depending. And which Belle says, well, we can make that much money in one day, easily. He goes, really? How so? He's like, he's just really just blinking at him like, really? He goes, I know. So, he goes, so who is she? And then basically Makoto gives, him her name and who she is and stuff. And he goes, I don't think you'll be able to. He was like, huh? What do you mean? He goes, well, it's hard to, I can't really tell you, but Belle, remember when you were in the red light district and we met up? He's like, oh yeah, and you gave me that, stuff. He was like, what did you do with it? He was like, oh, I left it with them. I did not want that back. He's like, figure as much. But anyways, the item I was given was a killing stone, in which Belle and Makoto goes like, what's that? He basically then Hermes about to tell them what it is, but then someone comes in. He goes like, well, we just have to end this chat for now, but I'll be seeing you guys, sometime soon in the future. Good day. As well then, Belle and Makoto are, get ecstatic because they can save Harume. But the back of his mind, something's up. He says, killing stone. What does that mean? As an Igor says, maybe Freya would know. Yeah, but how do I get to her? Doesn't matter. I'll find a way how to. And so, as Belle, and Makoto leave the tavern, he says, I got stuff I gotta do. Just get Lily and, meet up in front of the dungeon. Alright? Which he goes, right. So, in this case, Belle starts walking off. He goes, now, let's see how I can find her. as he kind of just lets the mana flow off of him. As well, Freya basically knows, because technically this is kind of like a light to her. So when she sees it, she goes, "Is Belle calling me?" Hmm. Oh, sorry, we're going. As he goes, right. So he kind of just waits. Where he was is if he was in front of the guild. As then he sees Freya. He goes, "What took you so long?" She goes, "Sorry, had to use a disguise." He's like, "Well, it doesn't help that you have Otar with you." Everyone kind of recognizes him. And which he kind of hears people going like, "Why is Otar protect with her? Wait, do you think she can be a job for him? You know, to guard her and such?" Wow, that's pretty amazing. She looks like royalty. Or a noble. Basically, blah, blah, blah. It's like, never mind. These people are easily fooled. She goes, well, I mean, yeah. So, what is it? He was like, come on. An Otar. I want your opinion on that too, so, you know. He's like, right. So basically, they kind of walk and go to an alleyway. He goes, this is far enough. Egress. Fang. Egress. Berserker. Frost. And Beast. Come out. Which they do, and he goes, make sure no one's gonna come in the alleyway. If anyone tries to, knock them out, don't kill. Stay in the shadows, as they all nod, and, they do. As then she goes, so, what does he want to know? He goes, what's a killing stone? In which her eyes widen. He goes, wait, why are you asking? He goes, well, because Ishtar. She got her hands on one. She goes, by who? He goes, confidentiality. Besides, I have a feeling if I tell you, you will have him or her killed. Or at least banished, if it is a god. And she goes, no. But those are extremely dangerous items that had to be shattered immediately. In which he goes, huh? Why? And basically she says, it's simple. Whoever they kill, and then the soul will go into into the killing stone. The thing is, when that happens, the soul will never be able to go back to the body. In which Belle goes, wait, why did they want to get Harumi dead? I have to find out. And, well, he looks at Freya. He goes, thanks. I really appreciate you telling me. Just, what are you gonna do? So he takes out the Night Slayer, the Night Killer dagger. He goes, easy. I'm gonna try and find out why. And I'll let you know what happens. Which, though, he's walking away, but then she grabs him and goes like, Belle, just promise me you won't get in any danger or hurt yourself. He goes, huh? Is the goddess of beauty really worried about someone like me? Just a human? A insignificant one? And she goes, huh? So he just then, pats her on the head. He goes, don't worry about me, Freya. I'll be fine. And then he basically smiles and, he was like, trust me. And he walks away, having her release, her grasp on him. And, well, she's still looking worried and has her, hand, in those classic anime scenes, over her heart and stuff. As then Otar says, goddess, are you, I don't know, Otar. I don't know if I actually fell in love with him, if you're gonna ask. In which he says, yes. If you are happy, I am happy. I swear my allegiance to you and only you. I'll do anything. And if anyone harms him, that means they harm you. So, she goes, thank you. You really are loyal. I really appreciate your loyalty. He goes, do not mind. And you're welcome. And besides, I want to see how strong this boy is when I fight him. when he gets a little bit older. And she does chuckle. And so, that night, he basically goes with Ralph and Lily and, Makoto into the dungeon. And they go all the way up to the 18th floor, then all the way back, and they technically got a good thing of veil. The thing is, he does not get any, he does not get any, experience from this. Not really anything. But that night, he basically says he's walking past Hester's room as she's basically up and says, "So, you're leaving." He goes, "Not into the dungeon. Going to the Ishtar Familia. Well, home. Gonna find out why they have something." She goes, "What is it?" He goes, "A killing stone. I don't understand what it is, but I really don't like it. After what Freya told me, I need to find out why they need her. Why they need, Bakoto's friend." As then he just leaves. While though we go to Hermes, he was like, "I can't believe I told Ishtar about him. Why did I have to tell her? Oh man, curse the gods of beauty. And the gods of beauties. They can charm anyone, including any god. But, so basically we kind of have the same scene. Like, Hermes has a flashback, the same scene that happened in the anime, then, when he basically was the next morning. In which he was, so basically Ishtar wants Belle. That's the insinuation. She wants Belle to rub it in Freya's face. So, what's happening? It's simple. While she's basically, Ishtar is basically, doing everything usual, Belle is sneaking into the red light district. He basically gets past everything. He's running, forward on the buildings as quickly as possible to the Ishtar's home. And, wow. When he basically, gets into the building, he sees a lot of the Amazons, a part of the Ishtar Familia, just go into her room as he kind of follows. And then she says, Ishtar says, "I want you to find the dungeon destroyer, Belle Cronell." And everyone looks at her, and one of them asks why. He goes like, "Because of Freya. Freya is interested in him, and I want her to basically get angry and feel pain because she couldn't get to him first." And everyone kind of chuckles. And so one says, "And also it's almost close to the night that we basically will, use Harume's powers and basically destroy the, Freya Familia," in which Bella's eyes widen. And he's just thinking, this is really kind of making me pissed. Why would they do that? And, basically the level 5 one that's, Familia member just says, "Yes, glory to the Ishtar Familia." And, all of a sudden, someone comes in as Bella just sneakily moves away, out of the room as such. But someone notices something. You see, Bella accidentally hit the door as it, opens in the different direction, slightly. And then, basically, Asha is, Aisha is thinking, what was that? So, Bella kind of just, has his shadows out and he goes, "Scour this place, find any information you can that's related to the killing stone," as they all nod. And they just spread out. And so hold on. Alright, so, basically, after Bell, says that everyone, all the shadows basically that he wants, believe. As in, the ice elves, basically are there too. I forgot. Oh yeah, I forgot about the ice elves. Plus. Alright. So, after basically him exploring some parts a little bit, one of the shadows comes over to him and he's like, "What's wrong?" As they, say to follow them. And he does, and it's in the archives. He goes, "Huh? Archives? Maybe we can find what it meant by the killing stone." And so Bell reads the papers. I mean, Makoto will still read the papers, but it's just, he goes, so they plan to use her power that can increase a level stat? Alright then. As basically he puts the papers in his inventory, he goes like, "That's all we need. Come on." As all the shadows return to him. And when he opens up the door, window, someone says, "So, he found our little plan." He goes, "I should have known you would have saw me." And she goes, "Yep. So, what are you gonna do?" He goes, show someone some stuff. But it doesn't matter. I'm already out of here. And, well, she goes, "Yeah. If I basically tell everyone, they'll catch you. Maybe." He goes, "Nah, they won't. Anyways, Aisha, what are you gonna do?" As basically he still has the window open, he's just leaning against it. And she goes, I'm gonna let you go." He goes like, "Huh? Look, I'm not gonna say it, but I became quite fond of Harume. And, well, if a familia can't treat her right, then I'll just come in and take her back myself." In which Belle's confused, and he goes, "Why?" She says, "Not the right moment to tell you just yet. Anyways, be careful, Dungeon Destroyer." As he goes, "See ya." As he basically just falls backwards. As Aisha runs over. What she sees is Belle suddenly takes out a dagger from his inventory and just stabs it into the building as it's basically making his descent go slower. As when he basically comes to a stop, he then used that halt to basically push himself off with the dagger. It does a little backflip, lands on a building, and then immediately looks up and just waves by and starts running. And she goes, "I can't believe he actually did something like that. I don't think anyone could unless they were a higher level. So, how high is he? Could I even beat him?" It doesn't matter. So, after that, Belle gets back to about basically his home, his familia, and what happens next is, he has to wait till everyone wakes up in the morning, but he sent a message to find, he wrote a message to Freya to come to the Hestia Familia in the morning, in which he gave this to the Monkey King. So, yeah. That night, Freya got the message, and the next morning, when everyone's technically gathering around, he says, "Alright, so, here's the thing. We're gonna need to wait for two more people." And Hestia's like, "Huh? Why?" And then so the doorbell rang, and he goes, "You'll see." So, he basically walks towards out of the living area, then into the doorway. He opens it. He goes, "Welcome, come on in. We're just waiting for you." Which she says, "Thank you." So, well, after that little moment when Belle walks in, everyone's not surprised to see Freya, but Hestia goes, "Why are you here?" And she goes, "Well, Hestia, Belle had one of his soldiers to come give me a message." "What is it?" He goes, "Easy. Ishtar is planning to destroy the Familia of Freya." In which everyone's surprised, but not Freya. And he goes, and they're planning to use Harume as their secret weapon. Like, why? Makoto asks, and then he basically takes out the papers and hands it to her, as what she reads shocks her. And what basically Freya asks, and she does read it too, and she goes, "I see." So that's how she thinks, she can win. But we have an ally, and he does, and Bell nods. He goes, "Yeah, you do. But besides, I don't like it. Sacrificing their own member isn't right. What type of familiar dish will she even make?" As Bell clutching his fist as Freya remembers what Sun Jin Woo said. And then she's like, "Bell, promise me, if you find out anything about Ishtar and how she treats her people, besides this, don't go after her, and try to kill her." Which everyone's shocked by, but Otar, already had a quick. How should I say? She told her about her dream, which Otar was confused, but now he understands. And he goes, "Huh? Why?" He goes, "Because let a woman fight another woman. Or should I say woman to woman talk. And I'll deal with her. You deal with rescuing Harume." As he does nod. In which, though, everyone's saying, "So wait, are we gonna just rush in and save her today?" And Belle goes, "No. Wait. Tonight would be of the full moon. So how about we do it during the night, when they're gonna try to do the ritual?" In which Freya goes like, "So, a sneak attack?" He goes, "Somewhat." She goes, "Huh? They're technically after me." In which everyone's eyes widen, and Hesse goes like, "What do you mean?" As then he looks at Freya, as Freya, looks worried, and he can see, he goes, "Because you have an interest in me, Freya." And her eyes widen, she then, legit, no one has ever seen Freya pissed. So when she, does, everyone's frightened besides Belle. He goes, "Why is she so angry?" She said she has been watching me. That is creepy, but... She's pissed off? Maybe that's why. She wants me for something, she can't let anyone else take me. Which Freya just says, she will pay if she ever, hurts you, or tries what she ever will do. As Belle says, "Yeah, that's the thing. I'm saying, let her get her shot." Which everyone's shocked by it and goes, which does raise the question, why? Like Makoto says, he goes like, "Well, if they're gonna plan to try to capture me, if we go into the dungeons and collect more, monster crystals, technically speaking, they'll try to get us there. And when they do, they'll bring us to, back to their home. I can easily get Harume out of there. But I'll need to do it when we're outside the Ishtar, home turf, their tower." Which everyone's looking at him. He goes, "And besides, I need to find out why Harume didn't say anything to me." But he thinks, maybe she wants to, because she can't live with herself being this way anymore. If so, then I have to save her. He goes, "If so, then I have to save her, no matter what." So, Freya looks at Belle, and legit, he can just see it. It's how he basically sees how Hestia looks at him sometimes. When, she's worried about him. Then he kind of realized, wait, if her and Hestia are looking at me the same way, does that mean... No, No, it couldn't. Two goddesses fell in love with me? I mean, I can understand if Lily would. I mean, but no. If they did, then what about my time limit? In which Iris is wondering if he should tell Belle if he actually becomes the Shadow Monarch. He won't really age. So yeah. So basically, basically Sun Jinwoo gives him the entire Shadow Monarch armor and stuff. So yeah, but anyways, after that little scene, he just says, "It's the only way I can think of. Besides, going for all-out attack would be pointless, because there'd be too many people around and well, during the night. Yeah, so it can't be easy for people to blend into the crowd." In which they just look at Belle, that's kind of smart. Which Hestia says, "That's my bell for you." Basically, which Lily was like, "Huh. I never expected him to actually come up with a plan like that." In which Belle just thinks to himself, "Wow, did it kind of question my intelligence? Or come up with a strategy?" And then he kind of thinks back to the past when he was like just a level 1 adventurer before the 3 weeks of traveling back up. He was like, understandable though. I would never come up with something like this. Alright. So, we're going to the dungeon today. Alright? Freya, get some of your forces ready for attack tonight. Hestia, you must act like nothing has changed. Can't let Ishtar know about the plan. When she was right. So, after that, they go into the dungeon. The fight with Aisha and Belle is totally different. He's able to handle her. But the thing is, he realizes he's stronger than her, but he has to hold back a lot. Just so, she can win. So, that does happen. He does get captured along with Makoto. That was the little detail that he did not account for, but hey. He actually kind of figured. He pretended to be knocked out. So he says, kind of figured it would be better off to have someone who could sense. So, good thing. Just a bonus to the plan. So after that, he's been pretending to be awake. Knocked out the whole entire time. And he was in a cell, but he knows someone came in to get him by the sound of the footsteps. He was like, oh no, the ugly one. Cried. So he kind of just see where this is gonna go. As when he opens up his eyes, who he sees is, well. So basically he sees Fernay. He's like, she was like, well, hello there, handsome. He's like, where am I? She goes, oh, simple, we're just gonna have some fun here. And basically the blah blah blah, same thing about how he won't be able to resist her, and he just says, I don't really like to hit girls, but women, but technically in this case, it's for my own safety, so yeah. And she goes, what do you mean your own safety? You can't even escape those chains. You're only level 2 and I'm a level 5. As then Belle just looks at her, gives that cold stare, goes like, do you not know who I am? And then she basically backs away and she's shaken. She goes, what the? She goes, this is the wrong place to even be in a closed-off space with me. As he kind of grins a little at this. And she goes, what the? And he goes, how many people have you hurt here to near death? Huh? In which her eye, she's shaking, and he goes like, so, let's see how much fun you like it when it happens to you. As when he looks at her, his eyes are glowing, as all of a sudden, all the shadows he has, at least, not all of them, at least some of them, cover the whole entire thing. Like, they're just covering the wall all around it, and she goes, "No, no, stay away, stay away!" Basically, because she wasn't really interested in the in the castle siege, the war game. So yeah, when her roommate opens up the door, she sees blood everywhere, and you know, Frine is beaten and bruised and bloodied and missing some fingers. Let's just say not that much. But it's more than just fingers. As basically Belle just, she basically screams a little, but Belle just walks out of the darkness because that's all she saw was purple eyes. But then all of a sudden they just turn red and glowing. And then he comes out as he basically says, that felt good. For all the men that she hurt, death was necessary. As she's like, how did you? He goes, oh, yeah, roommate, did you not know who I am? I'm Belle Cronell, the Dungeon Destroyer. Level 2 to the God stat. Level 3 to the God stat. But really, I'm more than that. I'm way more stronger than everyone here. But don't worry. If you already know where this was, then you know. You know simply what she did in there. And then she does not. Goes, she wasn't a human. She was just a monster. So, I treated her like one. Come. And then he sticks out her hand. Not her hand, his hand. And then she, because she was on the ground, he basically picks her up. She grabs his hand and such. As then Makoto comes and he goes, we have to get out of here. And yeah, so basically they leave, they go for the secret tunnels. Go exactly the same way, basically, where they were. Then Aisha comes, and then she kind of tells them all about what happened to this one person, the familia that was being near death, and then by Lady Ishtar went through some stuff. As then Belle says, "Oh yeah, Frine is dead. That ugly toad. Yeah, she's dead." And she goes, "Huh? Who killed her?" Like, a wild beast. As then basically Beast is like, "Okay, no, we basically became. You basically got my turned me into your armor and such for the Beast Monarch, and then you grew claws and such. But still, I did not kill her. You did." He's like, "Shut up, Beast, please." And so she was like, "Well then, that's a good thing." And then after that, Belle does kind of think, "Wait, how does she know that story so?" And then he realized, he looks at her, and Isha. Wait, no, wait. Yeah, I think I've been calling Isha. Okay, no, Isha. Yeah, Aisha. Yeah, Aisha basically realized he knows, and then he goes, then he clenches his fist, and then all of a sudden Freya appears. She goes, "Belle, remember what I said?" He's like, "I won't," but as all of a sudden, like, Makoto can feel something, basically coming off of Belle and even Freya, as all the shadows appear, which she's surprised. He got more shadows now, and all 128, and then he goes like Beast, in which Freya goes like, "Wait, that's the wolf that kept on going on different floors," and he says this was the Beast Monarch. When he basically, though, basically Beast did level up, by the way, if you guys are wondering. All the shadows did level up too. So, yeah. The Beast basically becomes his armor, and he looks like the Beast Monarch. Yeah, but that's because it's in wolf form. He just, like, Belle never notices this, but all of a sudden, like, 2 ears pop out. He's like, wait, why do I feel like... And then basically kind of moves him. He's like, huh? So he pokes his ear. He's like, that he feels what's on top of his head. He's like, did I just grow ears? As in, Beast says, yes, you did. He's like, oh no, is this permanent? He was like, only in this form. He's like, whew. Okay. And Freya just kind of just walks up to him. He's like, huh, Freya? And then basically she just touches his ear. And she was like, soft. And Makoto's like, get. I don't know. I want to, but no. And everyone's kind of confused on how this boy, like, because, Aisha's friends came, and her roommate is confused too, even her. But then, they're saying, wait, he has more shadows now? I mean, more whatever he has? And then he basically looks back, after he basically takes Freya's hand off, he was like, your force is ready? She does not. He's like, good, we're attacking now. Change of plan. And she goes, huh? He's like, yeah. So, you said if I can come save her. Well, then I'm about to prove it by taking down your familia. Besides. And then he grows claws. He was like, I'm gonna have some fun. So you better start your ritual now. Because the moon's almost out. And in which they look, they see it. So they basically just running away. As he says, everyone, we're gonna walk. We're not gonna run and try to charge in. We're gonna take our time and let them think they win. But knock out anyone who gets in our way. In which all the soldiers nod, and Yura says, as you command. So, Makoto is just in awe at this, and he goes, so, let's go. Makoto. She goes, right. So basically they start walking. And let's just do a little time skip to where it's nighttime. And then the whole entire Freya stuff is happening, like bombardment and magic and spells. The district is being red light district is being destroyed and such. As Bell has been just having his shadows take care of the, Amazons. In which, Freya sent a message to Loki. And Loki needed eyes, but, and she basically had Loki's familia also came with. She told them to bring them. As they're on top of a place where they can have binoculars and watch. As they see technically a shadow army with someone in the front that looks like Bell, which Loki's like, huh? Is that Bell? As then Revia sees the armor that he's wearing looks like the Beast Monarch, but then he basically looks at, he turns around to look at Igris, and then she goes, that's Bell! How? How does he? And then basically Bell's like, he has ears! How the heck does he have ears on top of his head? Which then Ice just grabs the binoculars and look, and she just literally says out loud, cute. Which everyone just looks at Eyes. And she goes, what? What did I say? Which Loki just saying, no, he's, thinking, no, he's stealing my bell. And then, she does chuckle at it though. He was, he probably wouldn't mind sharing her. And then she kind of thinks about it. He goes like, who knows if she actually will let me ever be with her? Probably not, but worth a shot. So yeah, Loki just says that. So, anyways, after they're looking and watching, some of the Ishtar Familia members get in front of Bell. As he just legit, just like, because they're like a little bit, he can sense that they're a little bit like higher than the ones that they've been facing. He just sighs and be like, I'll take care of them. So he just disappears from sight, and both his fists is into their guts. Not killing them, just knocking them out. But he does catch them, puts them on the ground. He goes, just stay here, don't get hurt, you too. In which, he just keeps walking away. The Loki Familia is shocked. Which, technically Revio is thinking, the Beast Monarch was always strong and fast. Does that mean his physical capabilities and just his regular body and not his stats increased? This is gonna be worried about him now. Crud. Because the Beast Monarch has a tendency to let his pride get in the way of things. So, as basically, the whole entire thing's happening. As then when they get to the door, he goes, alright, now, all of you go throughout the city. Make sure if there's any civilians, get out of here. And I'll handle the rest. As basically he looks at the door, which Igor says, "Would you need my help, my lord?" He goes, "No, just enjoy yourself, if you want. Just don't kill no one, okay?" As he does not, Igor does leave. And as Bell says, "Fire a bolt!" As he basically shoots fire at his hand and it explodes. The door. As he has the daggers. Well, he basically has Hester's dagger in his hand. Because he don't want to just kill them, so this would be better if I have this only. At least this goes with the god stats. I didn't even get my stats updated. Whatever. So, Bell, Bell goes in. He's finding all of them, and it's relatively ease. He's not having a hard time like he did in canon. And, well, Ishtar doesn't even know where Phryne is, so she's like cursing out where she is. She must have ran away, blah blah blah, all that. So Bell's going through everything, and then he gets to Ishtar's door and he kicks it open. He goes, I wonder if this is the way to wherever they're gonna do the ritual. As then basically Ishtar goes, "Welcome to my home. And it seems like you came to me, little Bell Cronell." He's like, "Sorry, ain't your little anything. I'm here to stop your plans. But as much as I will want to kill you, I'm not going to. I promise. Someone." And she goes, "Kill me? You couldn't even want to." And he's just looking at her. As then he kind of knows someone's right behind him, but he's like, "I want to see where this is going to go." So, he does get, he does get restrained and he's on the ground. As in, hold on. Alright, as I was saying, so basically he gets restrained and, they're going to see about his stats and skills and such. But also, Ishtar tries to, use her charm on him. He's just looking at her, he's like, "No, don't even see anything worth even looking at." And he just looks away then. In which that kind of shocked the dude and Ishtar. And then basically she says, "Show me his stats." And the guy says, "Yes, Lady Ishtar." And then basically they show, and then they see Laris freeze. As basically she goes, "Wait, that one responds to his emotions? So that means he's not affected by my charm." And then Bill says, "Yep." And you know what that means? As all of a sudden he just, suddenly he just gets out of the guy's, restraint and throw him he does a little backflip, grab the guy by the hair and throw him into the wall, which he hits it. And then, all of a sudden, he didn't have his jacket on. He just grabs the jacket and puts it on. He goes, "So that's what you wanted to know. You wanted to try to charm me. But seriously, put on some clothes. Have some decency." In which she's like, and he's like, "Anyways, I already know a goddess who's way more better looking than you. And personality wise." And she just put his hand behind his head, just walking out of the door. He goes like, "Anyways, you'll probably be dead soon. If not, then I'll come after you and kill you myself. Bye, dumb goddess." As that just irritated her. So, Belle, runs around the place. Freya is doing her thing with her familia, walking slowly throughout the district. And then she says to Otar, she goes, "Otar, let me handle her, by myself. You go, have your fun." Next she's Makoto. Because Makoto technically, did do the whole entire blast thing. This time they got there a little bit quicker to see Makoto basically falling, as an Otar runs over and catches her. And then heals her. And then he goes, "Someone take her to the Hestia Familia. They should be outside the gate." Or, yes, they should be. But then Hestia and Okoya, yeah. Oka and Chikusa are there well, and Lily. And next he goes, never mind. So he just gives, well, Makoto to Taki. And so basically Hesse goes like, are you going to? She goes, yep. I'm going to send her back up to heaven. And I have a feeling Belle did something really hilarious to her. I'll ask him what he did. And so, we totally would go to where Belle, you know, it's just walking up the stairs, and when he looks, they see the rituals happening. And so hold on. Okay, sorry. But anyways, as when he basically sees the rituals happening, he kind of grins. And, well, all basically the people that were there see him. And Aisha, kind of just stands back. And when, well, like I said, they're just starting the ritual, so the girl has the dagger up in the air as Belle just suddenly disappears and grabs her by the wrist. He goes, sorry, but, and he kind of squeezes a little bit, on her wrist, and then she drops the dagger, breaking the killing stone on impact on the ground. And which everyone's like, no! As he goes, well then, ladies, you should really look out, to see your city. Or should I say district. As everyone just sees this on fire, they're like, what the? And he goes, you have two choices. Leave here and survive, or get demolished and have fun walking around trying to look for a new familia with a couple of broken bones. Not by me, though. In which everyone just sees him. He goes, also, you should know, the god system doesn't really apply to me much. So, run. As all of them run, basically. And, well, Harume is just shocked to see Belle. And she goes, you came. You're like, I told you I'll come. But she goes, why? I'm just... And then he just look at her, tells her to be quiet, as she doesn't speak. She wants to, but she can't no more. He's like, listen here and listen good. You are not worthless, no matter what you've done and what you ever will tell yourself. You are not, and I mean not worthless at all. You basically deserve to be saved. In stories. Yeah, that's what you do as a job. Isn't good for the heroes. They'll leave a hero down the path of evil? That's the choice of the hero. But here's the thing. I want to be a hero that saves everybody, even if I have to go down a path that would not be, well, a hero's way. That's because I make my own way. Understand? Now, watch me save you. As basically, he looks at a blade that's on the ground left by one of the Amazons in the Ishtar Familia. As he goes over and grabs it, he goes, if I use my other blade on you, basically will be at a loss. And Ayesha goes, really? Show me what you're made of. He goes, alright then. As you wish. And so... sorry about that. My dad opened up my door and he didn't even knock. I'm downstairs with my doggy. Yes, my doggy. Alright. So, basically though, as I was saying, him and Aisha are basically fighting. And he's not... Basically because of his physical strength has been increased because of the Beast Monarch as a passive, really. It's, and basically also because of this Plunderer... Wait. I mean, technically it would increase his speed. But the Plunderer basically skills he got, he could technically outspeed her, but not with the system, he's just outspeeding her in general. She's having a hard time keeping up with him, and she goes, is this really a level 3? He has to be way above a level 3, a level 6 maybe. And then he goes like, come on, what's wrong? I thought you were going to basically beat me so that way you can't take her. And basically Aisha's kind of smiling. And so, well, she basically does a chant in the middle of, of her attacks. And he goes, chant, huh? I gotta really learn some more magic. But I like my magic better what I already have. And so he's basically, making her be on the defensive while basically she's then be on the attack while he's in the defensive. Basically, he's giving her a fair fight. He really wants to see how skilled she is, and she's very skilled. So basically, in the end, the same thing will happen. But when he yells out, fire a bolt, while he has his hands closed and he's, in a punch in his stomach, it does happen. But then, you know, he does catch her and puts her on the ground. He was like, good match. Now then. So he goes over to Harumi, cuts off the change, chains. And she's like, Mr. Bell, Mr. Chrono. He's like, it's Bell. Alright, Bell. Why you? He was, like I said, I was gonna save you. And it doesn't matter. Remember? As long as she remembers what he first said. He would save her, he would save anyone, including her. It's like, so, let's get out of here. And then he touches the collar that was around her. And then all of a sudden, she gains a mark on her. Like, she feels something like a little pinch. As in, he's like, huh? So, she basically, is holding her left arm. And then he gets a notification. She has been marked. He was like, wait, marked? Wait, oh no, don't. He goes, Beast Monarch title. Beasts will listen to you, remember? Basically Beast says, he's like, oh yeah. Secret ability of the title. Any beast that you find that could be a worthy ally or friend will be marked by you. That means a sign they need protection. Because people will come after them. So, Harume is under your protection. She cannot be taken from it, by anyone else until they defeat you. And Bell's like, well, looks like I don't have to ever worry about her being taken away. He thinks to himself. And then Harume was like, what's that? He was like, let me explain. So he tells her about the Mark and Beast Monarch title. And her eyes are wide. So she means she can never be. I technically am your protector, friend, and owner. So technically they'll have to beat me just to even get you. And no one can really take you away, so, don't worry. As in Mikoto, actually everyone gets there, so Mikoto, Welf, Lily, Hestia, Taki, Oika, and Chikasa, basically come over. As basically Mikoto is hugging Harume, and she's thanking Bell also. And he goes, it's no problem, really. I just did what was necessary. And with Hestia and Lily and Welf, Taki, everyone's actually just realizing he has a new look. As then all of a sudden, the Beast Monarch, technically Beast stops becoming the armor. He goes, yeah, figure as much, they'll be shot. Which, they're like, what's going on? He's like, oh, Beast Monarch, something that Sun Jin-woo killed a long time ago, came back into this world as a reincarnation, as a beast. Technically, his spirit came back to him, and now he's my shadow. So, willingly became my shadow as an ally. So yeah, he also becomes technically an armor and becomes the Beast Monarch armor. So yeah, and technically we have a new member of the Hestia Guild, which Hestia was like, not guild, familiar. Which Hestia was like, wait, but she has to. He was like, oh, technically, she does. Then, Harumi lets go Makoto after hugging her. She goes, I am technically with Master Bell. And which everyone's like, huh? He was like, status of the Beast Monarch allows me to technically have any ally of mine, or technically most, I think, beast, as he, looks at the system status again. He's like, yeah, mostly beast, I think. If I think they'd be a good ally, or they need protection or a friend, I technically would be their master slash friend. So technically they're like my servants, but uh, she's just a friend. So don't worry, guys. In which everyone is just like shocked by that. So technically, we will technically go to the end of the episode where everything will go exactly the same. Even Aisha basically saying if she finds out, she's being treated badly, she will come over and basically beat Belle. And then he's like, fat chance. And then she goes, I know, but still, just let you know. It's like, I understand. And so, um, when Aisha gets over to her friends that were calling her, they say, did you ever tell her about she was never able to, finish with her clients because she always fainted? And she goes, no, but let her find out on her own. And yeah, that's where we're going to be technically leaving it off. I hope you guys like it. This part of the What If series. I think the next, part 9 will be technically where I would apparently be adding something from the book. Maybe 2 things. I don't know yet. Anyways, bye everyone. Have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.